The next little nugget I want to share with you on perseverance comes from I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa, with some friends. It was 8 of us, 7 guys and me, which is usually the story of my life when I was in the military. I was usually the only woman. There was actually 6 friends, and one of them brought his son, who was 13 years old. Now, that's not usually advised. I mean, this is 19,340 feet. It's really difficult. But this kid was an elite athlete, like an elite runner. So he said, I think he could probably make it. So he brings him with him. And this kid was miserable. I mean, he was crying, he was puking, he was wanting to stop, he was fighting with his dad. I mean, the whole thing was a 6-day experience. And the fourth day was really the hard one to the summit. And at one point, I just walked alongside Chris and I was like, you know what, Chris, here's the problem. We're all in our 40s and 50s, right? So we're going through this really difficult thing. We feel like we're going to throw up too. We want to quit, but we're reaching back into our misery database that we have in our lives. I just called it that in the moment. We've all got this misery database, right? And we're saying, look, I'm going to keep going because I made it through some other miserable experience. I made it through basic training. I made it through survival school or ran some marathons. So I can keep going. So I can achieve this goal because I'm tapping mentally into my misery database. I said, the problem with you, Chris, is your misery database is empty. So you got nothing to tap into, right? So you got nothing to strengthen you right now. But the good news is you're building your misery database with this experience. And if somehow you can put one foot in front of the other, and you can make it to the top of Kilimanjaro for the rest of your life, when you come up with difficult challenges, when you're running in a competition, when you're doing something, you're going to say, that guy didn't hike Kilimanjaro when they were 13. I'm going to beat him. I can do this. I can reach back into my misery database and accomplish this. And that kid, God bless him. I'm not saying it was because of my little speech, but he made it. He was so miserable, but he made it to the top of Kilimanjaro. And 4 years later, his family, or a few years later, sent me a link to, we went our separate ways in the military, sent me a link to him running in the state championship track meet. I think it was the mile. And they're like, just watch this link. And so I see these kids, running around the track and the top groups together. And then all of a sudden I see this one kid go off the front and he just starts breaking away from the crowd. And he's just further and further. And he's just all the way in the finish, wins the state championship. That was Chris. And I'm sitting there just crying, like he's tapping into his misery database. He's doing it. He's amazing. And he has gone on to do incredible things. And so 2020 and some of 2021 here is building our misery database. It's just been a very difficult experience. But many of us have been through other difficult things in the past. So if we can just reach back into those other strength building experiences, and in the future we're going to reach back to this year and say, man, I made it through, that really sucked, but it is going to be able to help us. So I just want to encourage you on the misery database as you think about that.